Hello, good evening. Coming after a long gap, and I'm happy that some of you are watching my videos and do mention about why have I suddenly started talking about cricket. So yeah, for all those of you who are watching my videos but have missed maybe my introductory video that I had put in first thing, that cricket is my first love, and I'm very, very passionate about this sport. I love watching it ball by ball, minute by minute. I love following it. And of course, I am a die-hard Indian patriot, so I love following Team India in every single match wherever they go across the globe. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing this. But you all know about my first love, but do you know about my second love? No. So my second love is something that happened to me late in my life, and I want to speak about that as well. And that second love is something that I did this morning for 2 hours and 15 minutes with my amazing tennis racket. Yes, it is tennis. That's my second love. It's a game. It's a sport that I have discovered late in life, but I am extremely happy playing that game. And I spent a lot of good time at the court with my permanent tennis partner Maulik Bhai, and it was super fun playing 3 sets back to back. It was a very keenly contested match. The first set I lost, I was down 4-6, but then I came back in the second set, and I was up 6-2. And in the last set, it went to the tiebreaker, and finally in the tiebreaker, the match ended at 9-11. Yeah, but I lost it. But I ain't very good with tennis. I'm just an amateur who's trying to play so that I can be fit and because I love that sport. But each time that I play any sport, I figure this out that it's such a tough game. It's a tough gig. And it's so easy to commentate like this and talk about it, that yeah, this player didn't do well, that player didn't do well, this should have been done better, tactically this was not right. But when you reach the ground, when you start playing the sport, you tend to respect all of these people a lot more, because it's not as easy. I have it all clear in my head that my opponent has played a shot like this in tennis, and I will rush to the ball and try and play a drop shot or a slice at the back end. And you know what, at the very last second, microsecond, I realized that my hand didn't listen to me. So the reflexes, call it bad execution at the very last moment, but the ball doesn't go where it was intended to go in my head. So yeah, that's when you realize that it's very easy to commentate. So quite a few of you who tend to speak a lot about a lot of other people in general, also in life, we tend to judge, we tend to comment, we tend to criticize without knowing that how tough will it be in that very moment for that very person. So sport, I have always believed, teaches you a lot, and it's of course taught me a lot of lessons. And this morning, when I lost the 3 set match today by just a little bit, is when I realized that despite all the good work, good effort, and good planning, you may still be on the wrong side of the result. But yeah, here we are, and let's talk about what's important. RCB, the team that I support strongly in IPL, and yeah, of course, work kept me busy, and of course, I could not do it last Sunday. But then, yeah, here we have got 2 matches to review, and we will start with the CSK match. And it used to be such a keenly followed match, a CSK versus RCB, as they call it. It's a Southern Derby, and both were very, very strong. And you always were wanting to follow every ball of the match. But without MS Dhoni in CSK, it's not as much fun. And of course, there are a lot of new faces. Jadeja is not there anymore, so you tend to not enjoy it as much. And this match also was pretty much one sided, and we didn't have the usual excitement that we have in a RCB CSK match. And more often than not, CSK has won over RCB, but it was not to be this time around. So good news for an ardent follower in RCB like me. And Virat Kohli, yeah. So the man who I admire so much, and of course, crores of people world over admire him as much, was back again in the second match, and he played a little bit of a cameo, and he was a bit lucky that his catch got dropped by Shivam Dubey. But a bit later, when he scored about 28 odd runs, again the ball went up in the air, and Dubey only caught his catch. So yeah, finally he must have been a relieved man. But yeah, Virat had a bit of a cameo and a nice one at that. But if you see overall numbers of Virat Kohli, that man has scored 1728 runs in the past 35 innings. And when I say 35, it's IPL innings. So that man has scored this at an average of 64 and a strike rate of 153. Right? That man has improved a lot. That shows that despite being a legend of the game, that man has tried to improve the strike rate a lot. The earlier Virat Kohli, if you see maybe before 2024, he used to be at a 128 sort of a strike rate, but he's clearly improved it quite a bit. And while 153 sounds amazing, but these days, of course, the little kids in Vaibhav and Abhishek and Travis Head and quite a few, in fact, who started playing the game at 200 strike rate. So 153 may not seem as impressive, but when you observe it over a 35 matches, it's quite impressive. So that's the man, and he did a pretty decent job, so to speak, in the opening of the match in CSK. Right. However, Salt played very well. Phil Salt got a 46, and he is somebody who is very explosive. Comes from England and has a massive reputation. So he tried to live up to his reputation, but again, he played this 46 at a strike rate of 150 odd. So that is not his usual explosive best, but yeah, it was absolutely a valuable contribution in a total score that they did. But as we move forward, Devdutt Padikkal, as we all call him as DDP, played extremely well again. So second 50 back-to-back 50s he scored for RCB. And when you watch him play, he is very elegant, and the man is very impressive. I really hope and pray he continues to play well, because then he becomes a very important cog in the wheel for RCB, and he can contribute strongly up in the order. Yeah, so he did well. Then came, of course, the captain Rajat Patidar, and that man has been so impressive. When the captaincy was handed over from Faf du Plessis to Rajat, I was really wondering that why this boy. There could have been other people who could have been given the captaincy, but why did he get it? But last year I saw his batting. Even this year, his batting has been phenomenal, and he plays at a strike rate of always above 200. So that's mighty impressive of this guy, and he tends to hit some shots very cleanly and powerfully. For a man of that size, it's amazing that a little boy is able to hit the ball so far. So Rajat played a fantastic innings, and later on we had Tim David, right, who came in and played an amazing 28, and then he got bowled. But by then he had done the damage. He had played at a strike rate of 200, and that 28 was very important at that phase. But you know what happened? That bowl was not a bowl, because it was a no ball. Anshul Kamboj is a very good improved bowler for CSK. I've been following him very keenly, and he tends to bowl very well under pressure, knows a few tricks also. And that ball he bowled around Tim David's legs from coming around the wicket was outstanding. But poor guy had just overstepped by a bit, and yeah, it's a cruel game. If you miss it by a bit, you don't get it right. So then the very next ball, Tim David hit him for a six, and guess what? That 28 converted to a 70, and Tim David scored at a mind-boggling strike rate of 250 plus. So that's something that Tim David brings to this RCB side. Amazing firepower at the bottom. And that's something that you need when you are finishing games off or setting games up for the second innings for the team to follow. So that was amazing, and it was an absolute treat to watch RCB scored 250, and with almost everybody contributing from number one to number five, and that augurs well. When you've got few players contributing rather than one or two, that means that the team has got it right, and they might go all the way yet again. So, all in all, I think the first innings RCB batted very well, but CSK was pretty ordinary with their bowling. And I am surprised. Is this the Dhoni effect in terms of not having MS around for guidance to Ruturaj, who is the young captain of CSK? Or it's something else, I don't know. But they have got some really good bowlers. They have got Khalil, they have got Matt Henry, who's from New Zealand, and he bowls extremely well otherwise. You've got English player in Jamie Overton, who can bowl at the speeds of 150s. And you, of course, also have Noor Ahmed, who is a fantastic spinner. And Dhoni, as can really turn the fortunes of a spinner because he's constantly chatting from behind the stumps and giving guidance and setting fields for them. So I don't know what's missing, but despite some really good names, and Anshul Kamboj, while he's a youngster newcomer, but he has also bowled very well in the past few years. So you can't rule him out, but all of them went for a lot of runs. So it was very surprising to see pretty ordinary bowling and pretty average tactics used by Ruturaj Gaikwad. And hence maybe they deserve the 250 mark. But come the second innings, CSK came into bat, and the much hyped and the much spoken about man Sanju Samson, who is opening with Rutu, had to actually show what he's good at, and he could not, unfortunately. He tried, but I think Jacob Duffy got the better of him, and he's somebody who can otherwise play a big vital role. How he played for India, he could have done the same, despite a 250 kind of a total. Sanju could have come in handy. But RCB did a smart thing by putting in smart fields. I think I was mighty impressed with the slip positioning. If you see in a T20 match, you rarely see a slip fielder being in place. But RCB came with some strong tactics, backed up by very smart bowling by Jacob Duffy, and of course Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who got the ball to seam and swing. So that's where I feel that this RCB side looks pretty dangerous, because besides their own great talent of batting and bowling, they are also getting very tactically shrewd. So tell me, when is the last time you saw two slips being put in place in a T20 match? And that's exactly what RCB did, and that was amazing to me. And you know what? They got 2 wickets and two slips fielders, right? So that's something that makes me wonder that most teams today don't use slip fielders, but their ability to think differently, amazing support staff, Andy Flower, of course, Mo Bobart, like I mentioned earlier, very smart individuals are getting the team the right thing in terms of the intellectual input. So that way, I think RCB got one up over CSK by such smart tactics and amazing bowling. And of course, Rutu also got out in sleep, and he also could not take forward. So CSK start was terrible, which you can't have if you are scoring, if you have to score a 250 kind of a total. And Jacob Duffy continuing to prove how valuable he is for the RCB team. Bowled exceedingly well and broke the back of the CSK chase with those early wickets that he and Bhuvi also got. Now again, Bhuvi, imagine, he's an experienced campaigner. He's the only second T20 bowler to cross 200 wickets after Yuzi. So he got all his experience to the fore. He picked up 3 wickets in the match, and he showed why he is still a very, very reliable and a go-to bowler for any team, and RCB in particular, lending a amazing balance of experience and firepower and smartness in terms of the bowling lineup they have. So those were some great things. However, for CSK, opening wasn't too good, but the best bit was that despite a pretty ordinary opening, Sarfaraz came in and played a very, very good knock. Somebody who has had a lot of promise, somebody who's played a lot of good domestic matches, but never could prove at the highest level. But finally, he came good in this match, and he played very well. However, for RCB, these were not the only names in Duffy or let's say Tim David or Bhuvi, but also Krunal Pandya. He has been a very, very important cog in the wheel for RCB bowling because that bugger is very smart. He's a wily fox. The way he got those wickets was outstanding. So he got two wickets in an over, and he literally further damaged CSK's prospects to get anywhere close to that 250 mark. So I think I'm very happy with the way Krunal has played last year as well as this year. And another striking thing was the catching. Jitesh Sharma got an outstanding catch of Dubey. Now, that catch as a wicket keeper is almost, I can say, 9 out of 10 times not going into the hands because it was extremely quick on the other direction. Jitesh was wrong footed because he was moving away from the line of the ball by virtue of the ball looking like going outside the off stump. But somehow he managed to get his reflexes in place and pick up that amazing catch. Rajat Patidar took an amazing catch as well, I think, of Jamie Overton, if I'm not wrong, when he was going strong, and that was an outstanding catch as well in the close-in fielder on the leg side. And Virat, of course, he is brilliant, but even his catch on the boundary was very, very good. So I think these are some of the great ingredients: outstanding bowling, great tactics, outstanding fielding, and firepower in batting. I think RCB looks very, very set to yet again go all the way. If not win the trophy, which I will hope, but definitely to be the last two standing to try and stake claim for that trophy yet again for RCB. So I think all in all, a fantastic match. RCB won, and I was a very happy man that day. And next, we will review RCB's match versus RR. So see you until then.